Give me about 3 minutes here to blow your mind, and I'll create clarity on everything that's going on in your life right now because you are probably trying to figure it out and you're driving yourself mad and you get it figured out, and then the universe is over here and it's like, here's another one, and then you figure that one out and it's like, here's another one, and it's like you got a little jester on the backside of reality just throwing you a problem every time you solve it, and you keep trying to solve it, which is essentially like playing whack-a-mole. You're like, I'm gonna get them all, and then you're like, I'm so exhausted. Why is this happening to me? And actually, a friend reached out to me today, and she's like, "Yo, we got to cover my astrology or human design in order to figure out what's going on in life. It's been crazy." And I was like, "What are you trying to figure out?" And she's like, "I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out." And I was like, "What if you're actually being guided to trust, surrender, and flow?" Which tons of people online will talk about. They'll be like, all you need to do is trust, you need to surrender, and you need to flow, but they don't actually tell you how to do it. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how to do it. But before we get too far in this video, go ahead and subscribe, give this video a like if I create a shift, drop a comment below and let the community or collective know what that shift is. And if you really love me, be sure to join Enoch. It'll be pinned in the first comment. It is my metaphysical community that is essentially the pipeline for everything I do. So if you like me, you're going to love it and everything else. But let's go. Okay, so real quick here. What is a fear-based mindset? And I got this from Zach Kravitz. I love this framework. If you haven't joined Unplug, it's a dope community for like $8. But I got this from it, and it was an insane shift in me. And it's like fear-based decisions. Fear is essentially you have to figure out everything because you don't trust. And that is the simplest thing I want to share with you. Number two is a fear-based mindset says, what if? And it tries to figure everything out because it doesn't trust that what is happening is exactly what it needs to be. And it continually say like, what if this happens? What if that happens? It's like a little kid in art class. That's what I'm being pulled to, because I had an art teacher who's like, no more what ifs. She was not fear-based at all, as you can tell. So I know you're asking like, what is the solution to this? And faith-based thinking is even if. And and just in saying those two words, I want you to play with it. I'm a mental projector, so I can soundboard and I can feel it. But when I say, what if, I feel my body tighten, it goes into a fear response, and I feel closed off. Now, when I say even if, I get very optimistic. I loosen up, I lighten, and I'm like, my mind, my intuition actually opens when I say that. I got to watch it on this video. But when you say even if, you're opening up the zone of possibilities. And the zone of possibilities is essentially everything where miracles come from, right? But if you're saying what if and you're trying to figure it out, what you're actually doing is blocking the miracle from landing, and you're creating a fear-based energy, I guess, or aura. And that is such a low vibration. If you think about it, it's way down here, where even if his faith is up here. This is how you manifest miracles into your life. This is how you block them in your life. So what if? Even if, okay? Number two, what I really want to cover here, this is so important, is like, I always tell people whenever they have problems, like I always deal with problems, right? I'm a projector, I live it ahead of people so I can help them through it, but I don't have guidance, right? And what I've really learned is if you try to solve everything, you open the door to the next thing to solve too. So this is like, how would I even say this? Is like, imagine, just even look backwards at your life and look at what was the last problem you solved before the one that's in front of you now. And when you solved it, what happened? You got the dopamine hit, and then the next problem came out, and you're like, oh crap. And this is actually something that I don't know, mentally hacked, biohacked in a sense in business. I caught this early, and I'd just be like, all right, I gotta knock this out. I don't have a root in human design. I'm actually open. I only have my throat and my third eye. But so there's this phenomenon when we don't have a root defined in human design, we try to get stuff done because the stress and the pressure, and when we get it done, we're like, ah, and then the next job comes in. And when I learned this, I was like, man, I'm knocking that stuff out fast, and new stuff's coming in. But what I've actually learned to do is when something is almost done, I'll actually hang on to it and rest in that window, because as soon as I complete it, the next thing comes in. So sometimes we're not always guided to try to complete what's in front of us. Sometimes we can actually hack the system and create space and time to recover and really fulfill ourselves with what we completed and figuring it out before we jump into the next thing, right? So what I tell people is like, if God wants you to figure it out, it will be very obvious of how to figure it out, right? Like that's how I became a self-taught creative agency owner and photo, video, editing, website, landers, all that jazz. Like I taught myself, and it was something that I was forced to do and needed to do. And it was very easy because as soon as I hit a problem, I get curious, I'd find a solution, we'd solve it, we'd move on to the next. confirmation burp there, okay? Now, with this other model, if you keep figuring stuff out or trying to figure it out and more stuff's coming in and creating chaos, that is a can of worms that I'd put a lid on, because every time you're trying to figure it out, you're expanding it, you're expanding it, you're expanding it. There's more worms popping out when you could just put the lid on and turn it and be like, no more worms coming out. Like, stop cleaning up your mess and making a mess, and allow yourself to pretty much stop the bleeding, which could be trying to figure it out, right? Because if you can't figure it out, I'll honestly share with you, you aren't supposed to figure it out. And there's two things that happen here. You need to trust, surrender, and flow with it. And then, this is the best part, and I got this from Dan Sullivan's book, The Who Not the How, is why are you trying to figure out how to do it when you know somebody who can do it? And instead of trying to figure it out, you need to figure out who can help you do it, right? Because if you think about this too, it's like Facebook and LinkedIn really exacerbated this model with how many connections, how many friends, or Instagram, how many followers you have. But if you think about it in your life, and I'd say this generally, but you can probably relate to it, is I personally know about 10 people, and those 10 people know about 10 people that they're really close to. So that gives me access to about 100 people. And why do I bring this up right now? It's like I've had some insane issues with Go High Level lately, and I was trying to figure it out. And then I decided to take my own advice and figure out who could help me figure it out. And the other day, I unfortunately had to drive for Uber because the agency stuff hasn't taken off yet. But I know I was out on a mission, and I met this guy. And we were nerding out on the 30-minute ride from the airport, and he's new to Austin and, was looking for a business internship and all this other crap. And I was like, bro, you're really talented. You got on the right Uber. My name's Chris, and I need your skills. So sure enough, today I'm trying to figure this out on Go High Level, and I just finished my lander, and I'm like, let's go. And then I hit the next problem, and I'm like, fuck. And then I kid you not, this guy messaged me, and I was like, yo, you by chance know Go High Level? Like, you're a computer science guy? And he's like, oh, yeah. And he's actually helping me right now. And that's why I wanted to create this video, because I was stuck in this mess too. I was like, oh, what's the next problem going to be, right? And then when I got that message from a friend, the environment as a mental projector tends to show me what I need to be doing. And I sent her something, and I was like, I need to take that advice. And as sure as shit I did, everything started working out really well. And he's currently fixing the mess for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's awesome. What can I offer him in return? And there's so many other synchronicities. But what I'm getting at with that whole story there, a little side tangent, just to give you the full message, was like, one person I met in a car could solve my problem. And that's not even a close connection. Now, put that around all the entrepreneurs and investors and people I'm connected with. I have access to 100 very high-skilled people that if I ever get stuck trying to solve something, instead of trying to solve it and get on ChatGPT, or I don't even use chat shit. I actually use Claude and Gemini 3. But instead of getting on AI, I can simply pick up the phone, text or call a friend who can put me in connection with one of their friends, and the problem's solved. It's not that easy, but it really is that easy, because instead of getting on YouTube and watching all these videos on Go High Level to try to figure out the specific one, and then actually get into it and practice it and get hit with the updates and everything that YouTube's not showing me, that's like 4 or 5 hours versus a simple message, adding this dude as an admin on Go High Level, and then allowing him to show me what he can do. That's dope, right? And he's looking for an opportunity, and I'm looking for somebody to give an opportunity too. So that's a blessing. And even in sharing that, I can feel my heart open with that, right? So I want you to consider that with whatever you're going through, is to just simply right now, and I know this specifically, Uranus and Gemini is, Uranus is in Gemini right now. It's like whatever you're trying to figure out, stop trying to figure it out, because what it's doing is breaking down the old you that was trying to figure it out and wants you to open up into trust, surrender, and flow. And that is what happens when Uranus changes signs, because it is unpredictable, it breaks down old structures, and it straight sucks until you surrender to it. But once you trust and surrender and flow and start approaching life with, instead of with what if and how am I going to solve this, to even if this doesn't work, I know I'll find somebody who can help me solve it. That should be your freaking mantra. Let's say that one more time. Even if I can't figure this out, somebody else I know will be able to, what did I say? God, that came out so good in the channel. Even if I can't figure this out, I know somebody who can figure it out. Boom, that's it. I think that's like the whole send of this video, is really just stop trying to figure it out and figure out who can help you figure it out, or who can do it for you. because every problem in life is solvable. But if we're getting resistance on solving it, and when we solve it, more problems open, we're not meant to solve it. That's actually the sign, right? What we're meant to do is figure out who can solve it for us, and maybe who we can start to share our abundance with, and inviting them into what we're doing. Because I know right now in my personal life, and as I can imagine yours, is like there's a lot of new people. Their reality is brand new for me. I don't know anything that's happening, and that is a sign of massive growth. And when you grow, a new mountain appears, and if you try to scale that mountain with your old skill set, you won't be able to get it. Each mountain takes a completely different set of skills stacked upon what you previously learned. But in order to go up the new mountain that's here, you're going to have to learn new skills, which might be delegating to other people. It might be asking for help. It might be finding people to help you build faster so that you can stay focused on what you're really good at. Because I will add this in here. It's like, if you're like me, and especially if you're attracted to this channel, I'm very multifaceted. You are too. Like, we have so many different passions and so many different talents that it gets really hard to know which ones to focus on. But personally, I love focusing on videography. I love focusing on strategy. I love building and infrastructure. Like, I'm so intuitive, I can't even keep up with myself. But I can't plan. You don't want me planning, right? So I surround myself with people who fill in all those gaps, so I can be the guy who films, the guy who's on camera, the guy who sits on calls and meets with people and works with clients in the field. And then everybody else handles all my other stuff. I have a video editor. I have, all these other people in business so that I can focus on this. And I think that's the truest part of this message is like, where are you stepping outside of what you need to focus on, and how can you pull it back to you so you can focus on what you're really good at? And instead of trying to figure everything out, trust, surrender, and flow with it, start saying even if instead of what if, and figuring out who can help you instead of how you can do it. And that endlessly will change your life in this moment. And I think that's it, y'all. Peace out. Thank you so much for being here. And be sure to check out the next video whenever it drops. Peace.